Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The End of Castles. And my lecture today is called The Lost Art of Listening. And I am coming from James chapter 1, verses 19 through 20. And it says, "My dear brothers, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. For man's anger does not bring about the righteous life that God desires." And when we think about life and the many things that are going on today, it kind of reflects on this scripture to me. So many people got so much to say, and everyone wants to be heard. And they say a lot of times, listen to me. I got something to say, and what I have to say is important, more important than what you have to say. And so I need for you to just kind of shut up and listen. And a lot of times when we do that, it angers people. Of course it does. And if that person doesn't want to listen, they can become angry. The Bible speaks against anger if it leads to sin. And a lot of times it does. Listening has become a lost art in the world of babbling talk, music blaring, social media craze. But all those things deal with you listening, but nobody's listening. In James chapter 1 verses 19 says, everyone should be quick to listen. Not just the person you are talking to, but you too. We are eager to prove our point and feel the person isn't listening, that we forget to listen. And a lot of times we really don't mean any harm. It's just that we feel like we're trying to get our point across, and we are so passionate about getting our point across that we don't even think about the fact that we are hurting the other person's feeling because they feel like they're not being heard either. When we talk about the world of babbling talk, I was watching television one day, kind of just surfing the channels, and as I was going through the channels, every channel I come across, there was like so much drama going on. And where there's drama, there is no one listening, basically. Because if they was listening, there would be less drama. I guess that's the best way to put it. There was no type of godly substance, something to uplift and encourage somebody. And that's what I was looking for. Instead, it was more about who was dating who, how this person looks, who's divorcing who has plastic surgery, who has not had plastic surgery, whose photos has been photoshopped, whose photos have not been photoshopped, and it was nothing worth talking about. So it was just a lot of babbling talk. And then also there's about music. I mean, music blaring all the time. You hear music all the time. The beat sounds so good that you are not listening to the ungodly words in the song. And then you got your children singing and dancing to those lyrics. So we hear the music, but we are not listening to the words or the lyrics. And when it comes to the social media craze, a lot of things with that is we are so busy trying to be the first ones to tell a story a lot of times that we jump so quickly on our YouTube channel, our Instagram, our TikTok, trying to give our opinion, but we don't know the full story yet. We haven't heard the full story yet. We don't exactly know what is going on yet because we're not listening. We heard the story, but we didn't listen or wait to listen to see whether or not there was any truth to the story. In order to listen, sometimes there's like 3 ways for you on how to do that. It's 3 ways on how to really just listen to someone. First thing is the hardest one. You got to close your mouth. Let's just be real. You got to close your mouth. That's the first part of listening. It's just simply closing your mouth. And just the second part is just opening up your ears. Actually listen to the words that person is saying to you. And try not to interrupt, even if you disagree. In that point in time, you just need to listen to what they're trying to say, even though you still may disagree with what they're saying. When somebody's feeling like they're not being heard, or you're constantly keep interrupting them while they're talking, so they feel like you're not hearing them, which means that you're not listening. A lot of times it can make people feel a little neglected, unvalidated, ignored. And those type of feelings can bring on anger. It can make someone upset, very upset, because again, they feel like you don't care what they have to say. And sometimes it can be detrimental to your relationship with that person. It can affect your relationship with that person. So you definitely want to make sure that you are not making a person feel like they are not being heard, or that you're not listening to something that they may really care about. With all that being said, there are conversations and situations where you have to deal with something right off the bat. You both are stuck on that situation, and it could be something that really could affect the relationship. The best thing to do is to find a way to settle it using God as your foundation. I can't tell you the best way. I cannot tell you the best way. Really, only God can tell you the best way with that, because listening is an art. It really is an art form. And if you do not have strong listening skills, it can affect the people that are in your life. It can affect you. It can affect situations that are going on in your life. And even though it's something that is very hard to do, you have to do it. Sometimes you would be surprised how fast an argument or even a heated discussion ends with you both understanding the other person's side of view or the other person's viewpoint, even if you disagree. Even if you disagree, just understanding where they may be coming from, because sometimes that's all it takes. They just want to know that you heard them. They just want to know that you was listening. And sometimes that's it. You may not agree. You both may not agree. That's okay, as long as they know they was being heard. You may feel one way, that person may feel another way, but you heard both sides, and sometimes you may understand where they're coming from, but you may feel like, but that's not correct. That's okay. In this case, it's okay to disagree. When it comes to listening to another person, even though you may not agree with them or their viewpoint, actually, even though you may not agree with them or their viewpoint, actually it teaches you how to listen when God is speaking to you and you may not agree with him. But hear this. When God speaks, you better listen. But when you learn how to listen to people, even though they disagree with you, it does open up that door for you to allow God to speak to you. You hear him speak and you listen to exactly what he's telling you to do. You disagree, but you do it anyway because you know that it is God speaking to you. Listen and proceed on, whether you disagree or not. So I think learning how to listen to another person on this earth and getting their viewpoint, even though you disagree with it, I think it's a great way of teaching you how to allow God to speak to you, and you listen and simply just follow his directions. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I thank you for coming on here for another episode of The End of Castles. And as always, when godly wisdom ascends, a new mindset begins. Bye-bye.